Hey guys, I am making an Aussie cake today. So, back before I became a teacher, when I was in grad school, I worked at the Homer Animal Clinic for Dr. Cadwallader. And one of my friends there, Kathy Jo Dayton, made this amazing chocolate cake and she gave me the recipe. And it's one of my favorite cakes to make because it's one bowl and it always comes out fabulous. So the first thing we're going to do is 2 cups of flour. This is 1 1/4 cups of sugar. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons each of baking soda. So I love this set. There's a whole bunch of nestling spoons. My sister Brie got them for me. They're red, gray, and white. And they have all the common measurements. So there's a 1 1/2 teaspoon, a 2 teaspoon, a tablespoon, all the easy things. So I love this because it's just measure once. So 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Oh my gosh, look how low my baking powder is. I've been doing so much cooking during COVID. We're going to do some salt, of course. It says a teaspoon, so about half of this. Plus this is coarse salt, kosher salt, so it's a little less salty than table salt. And we're going to do 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. My other friend, Hannah, who I work with, her husband was down in Hershey and brought back midnight black cocoa powder and Dutch process. For this cake, I love using the midnight black. It's so rich and the chocolate flavor really comes through. So it calls for 6 tablespoons, which it's really annoying to measure out 6 tablespoons. 1/3 cup is 5 1/3 tablespoons. So I just do a generous 1/3 cup and boom, call it 6 tablespoons, one and done. We're also going to do 2 eggs. And like I said, this is a one bowl, so it's just everything together. 2 eggs, and we're going to do 2/3 cup oil. Here we go. There's one, and I'm just using Wegmans vegetable oil. Perfect. Now her recipe does not call for vanilla, but I like to put vanilla in with my chocolate. The other thing that would be really good in here too is some coffee. Like if you make coffee in the morning and you don't quite drink it all, you can do a tablespoon of 2 of coffee. You can also use instant coffee granules with just a touch of water to loosen it up. Coffee and chocolate go great together. The vanilla is just going to help enhance all those flavors. Now the crazy ingredient, when I first saw this, I was like, what is 2 cups of boiling water? I know, it's wild. So I'm just going to give this a little stir to pop the eggs and get them started to incorporate. And then boom, 2 cups of boiling water. Ooh, look at it steam up the camera. Right in. Right away I can smell the vanilla. So good. And I'm using a whisk because this is pretty thick at first. You could obviously use a hand mixer. I'm just doing it because there's less to wash. Woo! Give myself a little workout too. Look how thick and fudgy this is. Yummo! All right, whisking, whisking. A few lumps aren't that big a deal, but I don't want any giant lumps. Oh gosh, that is thick, holy cow. Oh, maybe I should have gotten out my hand mixer. All right, and it's that quick, look at. Few little air bubbles, but there's really no giant lumps. I've greased a 9x13 pan with Baker's Joy, which is nonstick spray that has flour already in it. You can do regular cooking spray and then use some cocoa powder on it, or butter the pan and then do some cocoa powder. That's always nice. So I'm just going to get this in our 9x13, and it's going to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending, on your oven, at 350 until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Now for chocolate cake, I always find it can dry out, so I tend to just barely underbake the cake, because once you take it out of the oven, it will continue to carry over cook. The heat that's trapped in it keeps cooking the cake. It's the same thing when you take meat out of the oven. That's why you have to rest it for 5 or so, 10 minutes, so that the meat juice can redistribute and the internal temperature will continue to rise. So the same thing is going to happen with our cake, and that's why I like to just ever so slightly underbake it. There you go. That's it. Like I said, 350 for 20 to 25 minutes.